really should be federal legislation. So I think that will speed up the move towards autonomous taxi networks. And I do believe for that reason, investors, analysts are starting to model out what that will mean to the Tesla model. It will take their gross margins from mid-teens right now up into the 60s if we are right.
And that, of course, was Cathie Wood of ARK Invest. And if they are right, spoiler alert, they probably will be, and Tesla's margins increase not a few percent, not a few dozen percent, but multiple times towards 60+%, the company's valuation will completely transform. Oh, so that's why they have a 2029 fair valuation for Tesla of $2,600 per share. Oh, that makes sense now. Note, however, that Cathie Wood pointed out that some investors and analysts are starting to model out the implications. At best, some of these analysts now at least starting to dip a toenail in the idea of Tesla robotaxis, but really not getting it. Speaking of not getting it, how Uber and Lyft are gearing up for the driverless revolution. From the Balls Deep Journal. After ending their own driverless plans, awkward, the ride-sharing companies are embracing autonomous vehicle operators and offering new app features. Uber Technologies and Lyft gave up on big plans to develop their own driverless taxis years ago. Now they are revamping their businesses to accommodate competitors who may have figured it out. The ride-hailing leaders are preparing to bring driverless taxis to your door with new app features that allow customers to use their phones to open trunks and honk horns. They're building infrastructure to maintain the high-tech taxis and training human support staff to handle riders without drivers. Both companies will have driverless cars from Alphabet's Waymo and others on their apps this year. In the coming months, riders in Austin and Atlanta will be able to hail a Waymo through the Uber app. Lyft plans to offer May Mobility's driverless taxis in Atlanta. Uber and Lyft have agreed to maintain these driverless fleets. They are finding locations to store the cars, equipping them with chargers and high-speed internet, and training workers to maintain the cameras, LiDAR, and other gadgets that driverless vehicles depend on. And here's a quote from somebody at Uber. This level of nitty-gritty, it takes years to build. It's not something you can do by flipping a switch. The ride-hailing giants are reacting to growing signs that driverless technology may finally be ready to spread beyond a few experimental markets. So I just want to take a pause here. You know what we're hearing, this plan? It is the polar opposite of vertical integration. We're talking about partnerships and collaborations between different companies. Uber partnering with Waymo and other companies to put Waymo's $100,000+ vehicles into their fleet. I mean, hey, this might work in theory, unless, of course, you've got a company competing with you that is fully vertically integrated everything, in which case you're going to have higher costs, so rest in peace. Skipping ahead a little bit, driverless U-turns. Uber and Lyft once invested billions of dollars in developing their own self-driving cars. Uber co-founder Travis Kalanick used to say the company needed to lead the pivot to driverless technology or, are you listening, risk becoming irrelevant. So I'm just going to say that again. Uber's co-founder used to say that if we don't lead the transition to autonomy, we're fucked. And subsequent to these comments, they've since abandoned autonomy entirely and are now looking at partnering with someone else who's doing autonomy. So I guess if we follow Travis's, again, the co-founder of Uber, his comments to their logical conclusion, Uber's fucked. By the way, he's right. Both companies gave up on the costly and hard endeavor during the scamdemic, selling their self-driving units. Now they're competing to be the platforms on which the robotaxi technology developed by others will operate. Uber announced more than 5 US robotaxi partnerships in the last 5 months, covering Los Angeles, Dallas, and other cities. Uber struck a deal with Waymo that will allow customers in Austin and Atlanta to hail the company's driverless taxis only through the Uber app, a move that will prevent the driverless car maker from taking market share in those cities. Waymo will continue to operate its own app in other cities. Now, you've got to ask yourself a question here, really, actually. Why would either of these companies want to partner with one another? Why would Waymo agree to not be able to gain any market share in certain cities and instead be forced to utilize the Uber network to operate their vehicles? Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. If you've got a good product that can compete with Uber on cost, wouldn't you just want to be able to go after the whole market instead of being stifled? Weird. And then on the Uber side of things, well, Uber obviously abandoned plans for autonomous vehicles of themselves, so they kind of need them. But exactly what has Uber offered to Waymo in exchange for this seemingly lopsided deal? I just don't get it. Of course, I know the actual answer. Well, Uber's like, well, we've already got the app and the infrastructure. It'll be easier if you just partner with us. But I mean, bro, Waymo is a Google-owned company, right? Surely the 400 IQ genie says that Google could figure this stuff out. Weird. Stinks of desperation to me. Uber and Lyft will get a cut of the driverless taxi bookings. So as we know, profits from companies like Waymo putting their vehicles on the Uber platform are going to be lower than, say, a competing company who wholly own their vehicles. meaning there's less margin, meaning you can't compete as well on price. Not looking good. The Robotaxi companies get access to the ride-sharing giants' tens of millions of customers without having to advertise or build the expensive technology needed to efficiently connect cars to customers. Now, it's true, this is not something that you can just immediately, magically do overnight. And in unrelated matters, I actually remember there was this company on a recent earnings call that disclosed that they'd actually been operating their own fleet for their own employees to sort of build up this infrastructure ahead of the wide-scale release of their own robotaxis. What was the company's name again? I think it starts with... What was it? Oh, that's right. It starts with Tez and ends in La. Self-driving taxis have yet to prove they can be a viable business, but the ride-hailing leaders, for now, are betting robotaxi companies will prefer to join with already popular established platforms to avoid downtime for their vehicles. Human-driven cabs aren't going away anytime soon. Famous last words. The future will be a combination of regular taxis and driverless cars. Uber's chief executive has said it might take a decade before half of Uber's US trips are on self-driving cars. Now, it's important to understand, okay? People who are using a service, transport as a service, give a fuck about one thing. Actually, two. One, a driver that doesn't stink and isn't an annoying fuck. And two, cost. That's most people. Cost matters most. Now, if you can choose a driverless vehicle, well, you don't have to worry about an annoying driver who won't shut the fuck up when you just want to be left alone, or alternatively, you'd prefer to have a conversation and then just silent, whatever your preference is. If there's no driver, well, you've eliminated the potential downside of a dickhead driver. And if the service is much more affordable because you don't have to pay a fucking driver, meaning it's cheaper, hello. But this only ends one way. So here's the question you have to ask. How quickly could anyone mass produce extremely efficient, predominantly two-seater autonomous vehicles and put them on roads? How quickly could this fleet grow? And how quickly could they drive their costs below that of today's Uber and Lyft rides, a couple of dollars per mile? That's the only question you need to answer to know how quickly this disruption takes place. Okay. At the end of the day, if you have a service that's better and cheaper, you're not going to have to worry about whether the market's ready. Your product will be adopted en masse. The limiting factor is going to be how fast can you put these things on roads and how quickly can you drive the cost down from a few dollars a mile to less than that. I'll be stunned if Uber's even in business in a decade, let alone half of their fares at that time are not autonomous. People aren't that dumb. Do I pay a couple of dollars per mile for a human-driven Uber, or would I pay $1 a mile or 70 cents a mile or less than that for an autonomous vehicle? Am I stupid? No? Okay, well, I'll take the better and cheaper option, thanks. Even then, the technology might not work in densely populated cities like New York. By the way, I just would like to encourage everybody to watch some of the FSD 13.2 videos of Tesla vehicles operating intervention-free in cities like literally New York. Just saying. Or under some weather conditions. Quote, "No one's saying let's go send some of these cars to Boston in the middle of winter," he said. "What happens when all these sensors get covered in snow?" Oh, fuck me. Okay, so clearly, at least according to the author of this article, it's appeared on the Doomberg terminal, Uber and Lyft are certainly going to do fine in an autonomous world. Apparently Tesla doesn't exist. So after Gary posted this, which was the description of the article we just read, how Uber and Lyft are gearing up for the driverless revolution, Farzad asks, by posting this, Uber and Lyft are both dead in a world where Tesla manufactures millions of self-driving cybercabs and sells them on their own network. Uber and Lyft both offer zero value in this world. Tesla will simply undercut them and get to market dominance. Hailing a Tesla is an app download away. So this statement is almost a question, which is how exactly in the fuck are Uber and Lyft going to compete when Tesla scales their cybercabs? That's the real question here in this post, which is simply a statement. And it's a good question, isn't it? Gary responds, Farzad, Uber and Lyft have 175, I think he means million, but we'll just say 175 monthly active users between them using their apps. How many monthly active users does Tesla have? Now, I understand what Gary's trying to suggest here, which is, look, Uber and Lyft already have customer base who'll use their Waymo vehicles once they're on the network. And that's true, right? but this is such a ridiculous thing to ask. It's like, how many customers does this company who's not yet started selling their product have for their product? Oh, shit. More discussion. Somebody replies, Gary, the active users on Uber and Lyft will jump ship instantly to a different app when Tesla's Robotaxi cuts price per mile by 50% or more. Now, look, I don't think everyone will jump immediately, but a lot will. Again, price matters. If you can get a Tesla Cybercab at least as quickly, if not faster, than an Uber or Lyft, and it costs significantly less, and you don't have to deal with a driver, which can be hit and miss, and you're not retarded, it's a pretty obvious choice. There are some retarded people out there, though, I'm not going to lie. Gary says, highly improbable, and FSD still isn't operating at 99.99% efficacy yet. Tesla will get there, but so will others. Matt posts, I just don't understand why Gary doesn't get this. Waymo is too expensive of a car. True cost at the moment, as far as we know, is about $100,000 a pop. When Tesla's selling vehicles with close to a 20% profit margin for about $40,000 a pop, meaning they're producing them for like the mid to low 30s, and the next generation, the Cybercab's probably going to be produced for under 20, so like a fifth the cost. It doesn't work everywhere. It won't scale to all towns and cities, referring to Waymo. Matt's right. Sure, they'll exist for a while, but in time, the rate per mile for a Tesla will be so low, Waymo won't be able to compete, and Matt is correct. Gary responds, I'm no fan of the Waymo model. It is way too expensive. He's right. Just as I said 5 years ago, every auto manufacturer would offer EVs as a means to survival. I'm going to revisit this in a sec. Every auto manufacturer will offer autonomous cars also as a means to survival. I'm not sure why you don't get that. So hang on. Oh, God damn it, dude. Oh, I love Gary, but holy shit, dude. I think he knows enough to be dangerous. God damn it. Okay, so Gary says, at least claims he says 5 years ago, that every auto manufacturer will offer EVs as a means of survival. Now, it's true that many companies are offering electric vehicles today, but I can count on a fingerless hand how many of them are actually making money selling electric vehicles. And if you're not making money selling a product, I don't think that's going to help you survive. So let's just recap here. A number of companies on Earth making a profit selling electric vehicles. That would be Tesla and maybe BYD, although there's been aggressive price cuts at the moment. We'll see how that washes out. And that's about it. It turns out that you can't just magically start making profitable EVs and survive. In addition, the majority of these auto manufacturers that Gary claims would make EVs as a means of survival won't actually be in business 10 years from now, because they won't have survived because they fucked up because they were too slow to the race and they can't compete with Tesla. So strike one for Gary. Number two, every auto manufacturer will offer autonomous cars as a means to survival. Yeah, cool. How? Oh, wait, I forgot. Silly me, my bad. I forgot. There was a guy that posted exactly how these companies can offer autonomy and survive. Ready? Here it is. Oh, what's this guy's name? Stephen? Mark? Who's that guy? Anyway, whatever. Parents must be dickheads. They gave him 3 first names. So this guy with 3 first names writes, how to copy FSD in one easy step. 1. Press the magic catch up to Tesla button, which instantly puts 7 million robots on roads collecting data. It also instantaneously builds a huge supercomputer cluster. In addition, it instantly clones Tesla's existing data and their AI team. And it also immediately puts Tesla out of business so they can't overtake you. Easy. Is he being sarcastic? I think he might be joking. I don't think there is a magic catch up to Tesla button. What was he quoting here? Not every industry, the majors in the auto industry have always copied every major innovation off each other. Yeah. Good luck copying FSD. Fuck me, dude. That is a pretty old post. This is more recent though. There was some news in December 2024. GM's Cruise self-driving car unit will exit the Robotaxi business, a retreat from a market that proved costly and full of reputational pitfalls for the automakers. So hang on, let me just recap here. Co-founder of Uber a few years ago says if Uber doesn't lead in autonomy, they're fucked. And then they abandon autonomy. And then one of the automotive companies that will, according to Gary, offer autonomous cars as a means of survival, that had an autonomous car sub-business, closes down their autonomous car business. But I thought that they needed that for survival. Why would they shut it down if I'm a bit confused. It's almost like these companies that are attempting to offer autonomous vehicles as a means of survival can't figure the fuck out how to offer autonomous vehicles, meaning they're not going to survive. Now, why is this post here? Oh, the guy with 3 first names was reposting this with some more comments. Turns out GM doesn't know about the magic catch up to Tesla button. Maybe a money manager or analyst can give Mary a call and explain where to find the magic catch up to... Oh, God damn it. Oh, shit. This guy's pretty funny, actually. I'm not going to lie. Maybe a money manager or analyst can give Mary a call and explain where to find the magic button they all know about. Don't quit, just press the magic button. So, the good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are a lot of very smart people like Gary who think like Gary at the moment about autonomy and what the future market looks like, and they're all fucking wrong. And I know that's very arrogant to say. And of course, in theory, I could be wrong, but I won't be. And when I'm not, I'll be happy to remind everybody that I said I wouldn't be wrong, okay? Legacy auto companies are fucked. They're not going to be able to offer a compelling solution in terms of autonomy. They can't figure it out. Tesla's too far ahead. And the people working at these companies, legacy auto companies, do not have what it takes. Their only chance of survival is to license FSD from Tesla and then slap a GM logo on a vehicle that's running Tesla software with the Tesla FSD computer. That's the only way they survive. And Uber and Lyft offering $100,000+ Waymo rides, who cares? Tesla's going to outcompete on cost and massively scale their fleet. And then those companies are fucked. It's not possible to compete on cost per mile if you have to spend 6 figures to put equivalent hardware on road that a company like Tesla can do for 20 grand. You just can't compete. If everything else is equal and it's costing you that much more, Tesla's just going to have a much lower price and you can't compete. It's almost like electric vehicles today, where Tesla's the only company outside trying to make it any money selling compelling electric vehicles, and they have the world's best selling vehicles. They're that much better. So Cathie Wood was right. Analysts, investors, money managers are starting to think about the implications of autonomy, but I think more thought is required. Let's just leave it there. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.